Hello, my fellow minor league nerds, and welcome to our latest Minor League Nerd Shorts episode. This episode is about the Florence Blue Jays and Myrtle Beach Hurricanes of the South Atlantic League. We covered them previously on our old Throwback Thursday Cap the Day series, making this our 5th expanded and recut episode from that series. The franchise began playing in 1981 as an expansion team in the South Atlantic League named the Florence Blue Jays. They would spend 6 seasons in Florence, South Carolina, playing their home games at American Legion Field, with former Toronto Blue Jays farmhand Dennis Holmberg serving as their manager for their first 4 seasons. In their first season, they finished in 3rd place in the South Division with a 66-72 record, drawing 74,645 fans, the 4th most in the circuit. 1982 saw them make the postseason when they won the second-half South Division. They swept the Charleston Royals in 2 games in the first round, but fell to the Greensboro Hornets in the championship series 3-2. Their attendance dropped by about 20,000 that season. 1983 and 1984 saw them finish with a sub-500 record in both seasons, with Cecil Fielder and Pat Borders serving as the team's MVP in each season. 1985 was their most successful season on the field. They were led by former major leaguer Hector Torres, and he led them to the second-half South Division title, finishing with an overall record of 85-55. In the first round of the playoffs, they swept the Columbia Mets in 2 and then went on to win the South Atlantic League Championship Series when they edged out the Greensboro Hornets 3-2. Their attendance dropped again that season, down to 41,546. In 1986, they were again led by Hector Torres, and it was another losing season when they finished 56-76. In what was the final season of the Florence Blue Jays, they only drew 36,010 fans, the second worst in the league, with the Spartanburg Phillies only drawing 16,833. On October 29, 1986, it was announced by the new team owner, Winston Blackstone, that he was moving the team to the Myrtle Beach area where they would play at Coastal Carolina College, now University, Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. As part of the move, Blackstone would pay to upgrade the seating capacity from 1,500 to 3,500, as well as updating the locker rooms and concession areas. They would become the first team to play in the Myrtle Beach area. Other major leaguers who played for the Florence Blue Jays include Fred McGriff in 1983, Jose Mesa also in 1983 and 1984, as well as David Wells in 1986. In January 1987, it was announced that former major leaguer Barry Footy, who spent the previous 3 seasons managing in the Yankee system, would lead the team in their first year. Their first game was played on April 7, 1987, when they defeated the Savannah Cardinals 3-1 in front of 4,100 fans. Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson threw out the ceremonial first pitch. They would have a great first season by winning both halves of the South Division. The Asheville Tourists did the same in the North Division. Myrtle Beach then went on to defeat them 3-2 in the South Atlantic League Championship Series. Doug Linton would be named the league's most outstanding pitcher of the season, going 14-2 with a 1.55 ERA before being promoted to the Knoxville Blue Jays of the Southern League late in the season. The team drew 179 fans in that first season, similar to what they did in their first season in Florence, averaging about 1,067 a game. In 1988, the Blue Jays once again returned to the postseason by winning the first half South Division title. This time, though, they fell in 3 games to the Charleston Rainbows in the first round. Their attendance actually rose by about 4,000 when 78,212 fans came out to see them. They had 5 All-Stars that season, including manager Richie Hebner. Derek Bell was selected as the top prospect of the league, with Jimmy Rogers being selected as the most outstanding pitcher of the year. In 1989 and 1990, they were led by former Major Leaguer Mike Fischlin, failing to qualify for the postseason in either season. Their attendance would be lower in both seasons compared to their first 2. On January 24, 1991, Blackstone announced that he was changing the team's name from the Blue Jays to the Hurricanes. He wanted an identity that would help make the team feel more like it belonged to the community rather than the parent club. He also hoped this change would bring in more fans. Myrtle Beach had been ravaged by Hurricane Hugo in 1989. The new name was seen as a reflection of how the community rebounded after the devastation. It beat out suns, waves, seagulls, shaggers, wrens, and whitecaps. To some in the area, though, the new name was not well received, as it was seen as a constant reminder of the damage caused by Hugo. In their first season under the new name, they were led by former Blue Jay Garth Lorg, and it was not a success. They went 60-79 overall, seeing their attendance drop by almost 8,000 to 62,885, an average of only 905 per game. Under Doug Ault in 1992, they would be much more successful. They started the season 5-22, finishing the first half 32-37. They would then win the second half South Division title when they finished 39-28, ending the season overall with a record of 71-65. They swept the Columbia Mets in the first round, 2-0, and then went on to sweep the North Division winners, the Charleston Whalers, in the South Atlantic League Championship Series in 3 games. Their attendance, though, fell once again to 61,120, the third lowest in the 14-team league. That final victory in the championship series would be the last for the Hurricanes. A week after capturing the title, it was announced that they were moving to Hagerstown, Maryland, to become the 3rd incarnation of the Hagerstown Suns. The AA Eastern League Suns had announced 2 weeks prior that they were relocating to Bowie, Maryland, where they would become the Bowie Bay Sox. These moves were caused by MLB raising the minimum standards for minor league facilities, with opening day 1994 being the deadline for teams to have plans in place. The ballpark at Coastal Carolina College was well below the new standards for Class A. The home clubhouse was so dingy and dirty that players looked forward to road games knowing the conditions were going to be vastly better. Visiting teams didn't even have a place in which they could clean up after the games. In Hagerstown, Municipal Stadium no longer met AA standards. Blackstone had tried to keep the team in Myrtle Beach. Since moving to the area, he had hoped to get a new stadium built within the city limits, closer to the Grand Strand, one of the most popular vacation spots in the country and the entertainment hub of the city. Conway, where they had been playing, was 12 miles away. In 1991, he had hoped Memorial Stadium, which was less than a mile from the coast and had no permanent tenant, being primarily used for high school football, could be renovated, allowing for a baseball diamond to be added, but that plan failed. In 1992, plans to build a brand new ballpark also fell apart when the team and the city were unable to reach a deal on how to pay for it. Affiliated ball returned to Myrtle Beach when the Pelicans began play in 1999. When Durham was awarded a AAA franchise, the Carolina League's Durham Bulls needed to relocate. A new stadium in Myrtle Beach would not be ready in time for the 1988 season, so the team played as the Danville 97s for one season as a placeholder franchise, while a new stadium was built in Myrtle Beach. The 97s were managed by former Major Leaguer Paul Rung and finished their lone season with a 58-82 record. As for the new Hagerstown Suns, they would move into Municipal Stadium, which opened in 1930, playing there through the 2019 season. The stadium saw upgrades and improvements in 1995, 2010, and 2011. When the 2020 season was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Municipal Stadium was the third oldest minor league park in the country. With Major League Baseball's takeover and restructuring of MILB later that year, the Suns were one of 42 teams to lose their affiliation, causing the team to fold. Municipal Stadium would be demolished in May 2022 to make way for a new multi-use sports and events facility, which would open as Meritus Park on May 4, 2024, becoming the home of the Atlantic League expansion Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Future major leaguers who played for the Hurricanes include Pat Henkin in 1987, Derek Bell in 1988, and both Carlos Delgado and Steve Karsay in 1991. The 2000 Heisman Trophy winner Chris Winkie, who played in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers, played 135 games for the team in 1992. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, that'll do it for this episode. I want to thank you for all your support on YouTube, as well as the podcast platforms you use and all our social media pages. It is greatly appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel or your preferred podcast platform, as it would greatly be appreciated and help us out incredibly. So until next time, remember to never stop supporting minor league baseball and never stop learning about minor league baseball history.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.